Hello seeds! Okay, today we're going to get a lesson on equal parts and halves. So you can see here we have our attribute blocks up at the top. If you remember from one of our last lessons, not the last one but the time before, we talked about composite shapes and using our attribute blocks. So we've got like our red trapezoid here and our triangle and then our orange square. And you can see how we've taken these two trapezoids and we've put them together. And so this shape, this total shape here of this hexagon is now split into two equal parts. We call them equal because they are exactly the same. This is the same as this, even though it's flipped upside down. It's the same shape, it takes up the same amount of room. So this hexagon here, this shape has two equal parts, all right? And then here we see we have this big triangle, and that's made from these smaller triangles. So this triangle, this big triangle, has 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. And the same thing happened here with we took 4 of our small squares, our attribute blocks, and we put them together to make a big square. And so this square is cut into 4 equal parts. Each part is the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? I forgot 1, 2 equal parts. All right, so that's our equal parts. So talking about our next piece of this, we have a definition of a whole. This reads, a whole can be separated into equal parts or equal shares. Equal parts of the whole are the same size. All right, that's all that means. So this is our whole that has been cut, and I'm going over it and then I'm messing it up a little, into 4 equal parts. All right, this square has been cut into 2 equal parts. These two pieces are the same size. So we see that? How this is 4 equal parts, this is 2 equal parts. So we'll just go through some guided practice. Write how many equal parts. How many equal parts do we see here? That's right, we see 2 equal parts. How many equal parts do we see with this circle? That's right, we see 4 equal parts. Now here we'll draw lines to show equal parts. So they're asking us to draw a line to make 2 equal parts. So we can draw a line right down the middle. I'm going to actually, and there it is. Our triangle is now showing 2 equal parts. Over here, we need to take our rectangle and we need to make it into 4 equal parts. Ooh, let's see. Maybe you can draw on your piece of paper and see if you can do it. Draw a rectangle and then cut it into 4 equal parts. I'll wait a minute and I'll do it on my paper here. There we go. So now the rectangle's in 4 equal parts. We could have also done it the other way, the long way. And I'll go ahead and draw that underneath in case that's what you came up with. My rectangle's not perfect. And you find sometimes that when you draw things, it doesn't come out perfect. So maybe you did something that looks like that. Okay? How do you know when parts are equal? How do we know? We know when the parts are the same size. Okay? So for example, let's go back to our triangle here. And let's say I cut it this way. This does not show equal parts. This shape is not the same as this shape. They are not the same size. So this is not equal, okay? It has to be cut into equal parts. And we see that with our fraction circles in the classroom. Our fraction circles are cut into equal parts. Okay, so you have a couple pages of follow-up work talking about equal parts, and then the next section of this lesson is looking at halves. So a whole that is separated into two equal parts is separated into halves. So in the classroom, we see that with our half family, when this is an example of that. Our fraction circle that's cut into two, these are halves. It's also halves when we cut a square into two equal parts, or a rectangle. Okay, it's cut in half. So we have each part is half of the whole. Two equal parts, or two halves. Okay? I say two equal parts. You say two halves. Two equal parts? Two halves. All right. And then we'll go through here, right? How many equal parts make up the whole? Two equal parts make up the whole. Two equal parts here make up the whole. And then down here it says, draw lines to show two equal parts, write how many halves. So again, there's two different ways I could do this. I could draw a line, kind of like either hamburger or hot dog. I could draw a line down the middle here and make two halves look like two squares. Or I could cut it long ways and have two thin rectangles. I'll go ahead and do it this way, making my two halves look like that. Okay? And same thing for our circle. Up here, the circle is cut long ways, showing two halves. We could also cut it like this. And we still have two halves. This piece here represents one half of the whole. All right? How many halves make up a whole? Two halves make up a whole. All right. So you have 4 total pages of follow-up work on equal parts and halves. And next week we'll go a little bit further with our fractions. So enjoy. Reach out if you have questions.